It was May 13th, 1939. The German transatlantic liner, the St. Louis, sailed from Hamburg, Germany to Havana, Cuba. On this ship was 937 passengers, almost all Jews fleeing the Third Reich. Most were German citizens, some were Eastern European Jews, and a few were officially stateless people. 1 year earlier at this point, there was a conference called the Evian Conference, and this was a conference in Evian, Paris, where a bunch of countries got together, or a lot of countries got together, in order to try and figure out what to do with the Jewish refugees of the Second World War. We saw the Hitler regime was trying to take over and really were mistreating Jews with anti-Semitic propaganda, and the world came together to decide, where are we going to put all of these Jews who are no longer safe in Europe? In the end, unfortunately, no countries wanted these Jewish refugees. Anti-Semitism was rampant all over the world, not just in Germany. This anti-Semitism became very clear when someone asked a member of the Canadian government and the ministry who deals with the refugees how many Jews that they'd be willing to take, Jewish refugees from World War II Europe. And their response right before the war began was, quote, "None is too many," end quote. It was only recently that the Prime Minister of Canada apologized for not taking any refugees from World War II and sending back the Jewish people in order to be murdered by the Nazis. This was the story of the St. Louis. This was a ship that had a bunch of Jewish refugees trying to flee Germany. Unfortunately, countries had already closed their borders, but they took a chance, took this ship to Cuba, hoping that Cuba would be different. Unfortunately, Cuba did not take them. They continued up and down the east coast of the North American continent. No countries would take them until they were eventually sent back to Germany, and most were killed. Unfortunately, after the St. Louis in 1939, that was the end of immigration out of the country by Jews, and they were left to their fate. Not only is this a lesson that Israel is so important for the Jewish people to provide that safe place to go no matter what, but it also makes you wonder if the countries that we are in within North America will always be so open and free to Jewish refugees. We have seen other refugee groups demonized for their religion or their background. We've seen bans on Muslim immigrants to the United States. We see rising anti-Semitic ideas within different political parties, whether it is Labour parties in UK or whether it is the rise of the anti-Semitic tropes within QAnon and far fringe groups. It's really quite frightening to think that if any of these people will get into power, that policies might change and Jews may no longer be safe. Should we be worried that the day that our countries might turn a little bit more unsafe for us, that we will have nowhere else to go and that Israel will be our only place of safety? Should we prepare for this eventuality? Or are we going to just sit here and hope that history will not repeat itself and we will not be either like the Germans waiting for the change in government or the Ukrainians who are now under attack from Russia? When we come back after this break, we're going to talk about the 1940s and Jews trying to make their way to the British Mandate of Palestine and the challenges they faced in the 1940s when we come back on the Jewish Diaspora Report.